You're listening to Pole Parlour, a fun, inspiring podcast for all those bewitched by pole dance. Each week, your Madam Crimson Minxxx has candid conversation with unique, engaging individuals from within and around the pole dance community. Pole Parlour is passionate about preaching creativity, soulful sensuality, and empowerment through pole dance.
You know how we do.
Welcome everyone to Pole Parlour. This is episode 23, Vertical Joe. I'm your host, Crimson Minxxx. On this episode, we have Torwa Joe, aka FiyaStarta, aka Boss Babe of Vertical Joes. Joe is a pole champion, performer, choreographer, official twerk technician, and founder of the world-famous Vertical Joe's pole studio in Atlanta, Georgia. On this episode, we talk about how Joe unintentionally fell into pole almost 10 years ago while working as a fitness instructor, her glamorous life of touring with hip-hop artists and hosting television stars at her studio, her love of the Atlanta booty clap, aka twerking, and how she's just getting started with her overall vision for her Vertical Joe's empire. And don't forget to check out Joe's post-podcast interview on the blog at poleparlour.com, where she shares her favorite photos, music, video, and more. And if you're enjoying these episodes, I would truly be humbled if you took the time to leave a rating or review on iTunes or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And now, get ready to have some fun with Vertical Joe.
My anaconda don't, my anaconda don't, my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Boy, toy named Troy used to live in Detroit.
Welcome, Vertical Joe, to the Pole Parlour podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing just excellent. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to talk with you.
Oh, well, I'm super excited to talk with you, so the feeling is mutual.
Pow.
Let's jump on in. For how long have you been poling, and how did you first discover pole dance?
I have been polling. The exact year is still kind of a little blurry, but we know it was somewhere in 2006. And I actually was, I would say, sort of discovered. I was teaching cardio striptease at Bally Total Fitness. And apparently from me teaching a striptease class, a rumor got started around the gym that I was a stripper.
Which you were not?
Which I was not.
Okay.
I was not. I have not worked as an exotic entertainer despite these twerk skills, okay? But the ladies at the gym ended up coming to me. It was 4 ladies, housewives. They were trying to figure out why, the strip club was so exciting for their husbands. So they had a pole and they wanted me to teach them how to dance on it. And, I turned them away. I was like, I don't know how to pole dance. And they was like, but we heard you was a stripper. And I'm like, but I'm not a stripper. So anyway, they wouldn't leave me alone. And then they started, offering to pay me. And for me, teaching aerobics, you're really not making that much money. So I was like, let me see what I can do with that pole, and I just off top being athletic, I was able to climb and flip upside down. I could dance already. So, I bust open this little routine on them and they were just looking like, we can't do that. So that's how I got started, me trying to teach them the routine that I did.
How did you get inspired? You just came up with you didn't go check out clubs, or were you YouTubing? You were just like, I'll do something cool.
Absolutely not. Before them, I had no interest in pole dance. I never even looked it up. I had no pole friends or anything. I literally put up the pole and was just kind of like, well, what can I do with it? I feel like people who have a dance background sometimes have a knack for, dancing around props or whatever, but it just seemed natural to me. You see a pole, you don't have to see someone climb it to want to climb it, or you don't have to see someone flip upside down to want to flip on it. So that was really all I did was climb, flip, and I did a split, but the split wasn't even a drop split. It was a floor split, and they just wanted to learn how to do it. So once I started teaching them is when I got really curious about it. And I started, YouTubing people. And I had this horrible dial-up. It was by People. It was called People something. It was a little man with a little head, a little stick figure. And the little feet kind of looked like a knockoff of the AOL. So I had horrible internet. But on MySpace, I made friends with a lady named Tess Taylor. who's like super, super dope pole dancer based out of the UK. I made friends with then Allure something, which is now Nicole the Pole. I made friends with her on YouTube, and I made friends with Red Key 71, which is Carol Hims now.
Yes, we had her on a
And
couple weeks ago.
yep. And a young lady named Tara Karina, who she was very, very popular on YouTube. But up until then, I had no YouTube friends. I had no YouTube. I don't think I really had any. I didn't have any YouTube videos. My first set of YouTube videos was pole videos. So that's kind of where it started.
Wow, so you really had more of like a fitness background. Did you have a dance background of any sort, or?
Yep. Dance background. I went to a performing arts high school, trained in ballet, tap, and jazz. Hip hop was still very much emerging, so we did more like modern dance. My discipline in school was African dance. My family's West African, so that's pretty much. I ended up in fitness because at the time, at the time when I was in my early 20s, hip hop was kind of like doing like trying to figure out some different things and like just getting accepted and different things like that. So a lot of my friends are like moving to like New York and, living in one room and eating popcorn for dinner and stuff. And I was like, not really with that. And then, also being, a darker woman and with the shape that I have, this look wasn't what was like getting booked. It was a lot of, slimmer fit women,
Models.
More model structure. So it was like, okay, I can go to New York, try to get booked, starve, or I can, use my dance talents for fitness. Really the majority of the classes that I taught was dance fitness. Like they used to call me Hip Hop Joe because I taught all the hip hop classes at the gym. So those two things are, kind of what, came together. When I met Pole, it was just another form of fitness. It was another apparatus. It was just, I thought it was going to like come and go. Just like I taught all kinds of fitness. So I just thought it was going to come and go. And I was like, let me just do this thing. And it has just become just a full on thing. Just, I mean, it's such a wonderful, wonderful form of dance. And I'm just happy to, really be a part of, just watching it transition and grow.
Yeah, and being kind of a founder in the movement.
I'm hearing this, I didn't really.
Well, one of our first episodes was with Anne Marie Davies, who obviously yes, she's the founder of UPA, and she cites you as one of the first voices in the community, one of the first people to have a studio in the United States. So. It's true. And so I forgot to say, but you're in Atlanta. You've always been in Atlanta?
I'm in Atlanta. I've always been in Atlanta. Always felt like an Atlanta ambassador. I felt like the South was very invisible to the pole community. I would never really see anyone, from the South. I remember way back, I would always go to LA to see everything, to see, the shows, the competitions. And I was just like, damn, they don't like us. Or, I go to New York and all the New York competitors were either from New York or they were from LA. And I was just like, we have, no representation. So I felt like it was important to say, hey, the South is here and, we have style too, and we have something to offer. So as soon as we, got the opportunity to try to go on a stage somewhere, we tried to really make sure that they knew, who we were.
Yeah, and show up.
Mm-hmm.
So you started Vertical Joe's pole studio. What
Yes.
year was that? When did that happen?
Vertical Joe's was actually established in 2009, which was a bit far after our emergence into the pole community. We started, I feel like we emerged kind of more like maybe like 08, late 07 kind of thing. What really happened with Vertical Joe's is I never wanted a studio. The Vertical Joe's was never in my head. After the whole Bally thing, right, I ended up teaching pole at different places. Like I just went crazy. Like, oh, you want a pole? You want a pole? You want a pole program? I can make you a pole program. So I was teaching at like 10 different places, right? And I performed at this event. It was a guy here who sang this song called Work That Pole. It sounded like shawty working that pole, pole, pole. You know she got soul, soul, soul. I like it when you drop it down low, low. Shawty know she working that pole. Hey, that song was a jam. Okay, it was a shit. Okay, so he ended up trying to find a pole dancer to perform with him, and I ended up being her. So we're going all over Atlanta performing to this song. So I was at this showcase performing with him, and a young lady who actually I had went to high school with, she hadn't seen me in a long time, and she was like, oh, snap, I know her. And at the time, she was gearing up to tour with Lil Wayne, and they were looking for a pole dancer for his tour. So I ended up getting put on to the tour. I was supposed to do like one show. Yeah. They liked it, and they ended up just keeping me on the road. And then later, they were kind of short a backup dancer, and Wayne wanted twerk, and nobody else was really twerking. And I kind of twerked, and then they put me in back that ass up. So I ended up in the backup dance routines and the pole dance routine. So basically, I had to go on the road, which meant that I had to create a team of instructors to teach all the places that I was teaching at. So I started off with a crew to begin with. But when I got back from the tour, the studios were acting crazy and were trying to make me be exclusive to one studio. Yeah, and it was like, how you gonna make me be exclusive to your studio? I made you. I made you. You didn't even know nothing about pole. You didn't have a pole. You didn't know anything about a pole. You had no pole students. You know, the pole students came because we bought you this pole program, and now they was acting crazy. So I was forced to start Vertical Joe's, and when I started Vertical Joe's, all the instructors were like, "We're not gonna stay with them. We're gonna come work with you." So that's how Vertical Joe's formed.
Wow, what a story. And yeah, I love because you have on your website that your mission is to turn everyday women into Poleholics.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's where that came from. It was like, we're not starting the studio because we want to create like athletes, or we want to create like, you know, you wanted to have your own practice space or something like that. It just came from like, well, all these women keep coming to me, so what the hell am I going to do with them?
Let's make it happen. Absolutely. And that's what's happened. That's where the name FiyaStarta came from, because for a long time they were still calling me Hip Hop Joe, and they were like, man, this has got to go. You can't be teaching pole and your name is Hip Hop Joe. And I didn't have another name, and we ended up having a little contest, like, you know, name me contest. And it was so funny because it was a lot of names that had a lot of interesting reasons behind the name. But yeah, one of the young ladies said, you know, I think your name should be FiyaStarta. And she was like, well, you know, when I first came to a pole class, I was not interested. You know, I came with a friend. I thought it was going to be whack, this, and this. And she was like, not now. I'm addicted to pole. And, you know, so many women have experienced the same thing with you. And then she was like, and you fire hot, you know, on the pole. And at the time, like my signature move, actually, it's actually still my signature, but signature move of like, you know, going down the pole, like leg switching really fast. You know, she was talking about when she first tried to do it, how her legs were on fire. You know, so she had all of these reasons. So after a while, I just started to embrace it. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be FiyaStarta. And then next thing you know, I'm painting flames on my ankles and dyeing my hair red. It was just crazy, you know? So yeah, that's what happened with that. So
it fits.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah. Are you still in the same location?
No, actually, I'm still in Midtown Atlanta, but I'm in a different location right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, we've grown, we've moved, and then just being a studio owner is so many different variables and things that just happen. You end up moving. You might not want to move, but then once you get to where you are, you're like, you know what, this was the best thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, but we're still in Midtown Atlanta. I can't see being anywhere else. You have to be in the heart of the city. You got to be able to say that, you know, the airport is, you know, 10 minutes that way, and Magic City's 5 minutes that way. And, you know what I'm saying? You got to be in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So that's about Midtown. So I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Yeah, what's it like being a studio owner? Because I think a lot of us maybe have misconceptions about, that what goes into it. And I think, me just having followed you for a long time,
Hmm.
just online, not in life, not being creepy or anything, but I like noticed how you have a lot of bachelorette parties and pool
Hmm.
parties and things like that. That's like a
Yeah.
huge part of your business model.
Yeah.
And also you do like certifications and you've done things like this. So you've really grown just beyond like, oh, we just have a class schedule.
Right. I mean, having a studio it's really amazing. But it's easy to like start, but it's hard to like maintain. So I feel like you have to pay attention to what's going on and be willing to adjust. But then you also have to put yourself into a position that if you say that something is hot, that people believe it's hot and you show them why it's hot. And I feel like that's kind of how you stay up on things. With me never wanting a studio or anything, I didn't know what I was doing. When I got one, I had no business plan. I had no vision board. I had no affirmations, or anything along those lines. It was just like, these bitches tripping. They don't want to let me teach. I'm gonna do my own thing. But once the ball started, rolling, I had a lot of natural like hustle, about myself. But it got to a point where I was like, oh, I need to like read a business book or take a class or figure out how to manage these accounts or something, So I feel very happy to have, been able to keep my head above water, long enough to realize, the adjustments that I needed to make to have a studio and maintain a studio. I have had multiple locations. I've had everything happen to, being locked out, of a studio, locks change, crazy landlord. I've had landlords be bought out, having 60 days to move, wanting to give up on having a studio altogether. And, the students and instructors are like, no, we can do this. We've had pre-established studios. We've built studios from scratch. And, it, you know, reaching out and starting to talk with other, studio owners and kind of put our heads together. Like I remember talking to like Kira from Body and Pole. I talked to Fanya. We started before they, started to launch like the official, studio like symposium, kind of things. We were, talking, amongst each other, like, well, what are you doing and what's working for you? And I feel like that really helps because a lot of times people don't make the adjustment until it's too late, and they're not really paying attention about what's going on. And then sometimes people just take one class, girl, and they're like, I want to open a studio because, I don't know, they got a tax return, or they sitting on some cash or their boyfriend sitting on some cash and they just open up a studio. And it's like, you don't know but three different kinds of firemen. You don't have no following. You just open up a studio, and it looks crazy because then when people go and they experience it, if they get the wrong experience and they don't want to pole dance, anymore, they think that everything is the same. So yeah, being a studio owner it's work, but at the end of the day, I feel like the return is, something way more amazing than money. You know what I mean? Like you're providing like a place for people to come and express themselves and, feel good and, run away from, their problems. And it's just our studio is such like a sisterhood. Mm-hmm. That I really can't imagine not being able to have that place for, women to go.
Yeah, no, it's true. You create like a sanctuary for people, and it's the financial parts that give you a lot of credit. Do you pull in a lot of people from like having like the pole parties and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at one point, well, so here's the thing: different places, depending on where you are, parties may not necessarily be their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at some point, like we just no, I know what it was. We've done quite a bit of like reality TV,
Mm-hmm.
shows or whatever. Yeah. So people started to contact us from different places and were just like, when I come to Atlanta, I want to come there. And at the time, we really really didn't have that many like party packages. Then when we started doing like the conventions and stuff like that, now we had even more people that were like, well, when I come to Atlanta, I want to visit there. And we really didn't have anything laid out. So after, the first few groups of people that came out for it, we were like, we're tripping. Like, you can't make this kind of money in a week off of classes. You know what I mean? Whereas you can have one day of parties gone, just girls gone wild parties. And you can, pay the studio bills in a weekend. I was like, as soon as I realized that, we had like 12 different packages, 5 different promos. And then like our instructors now, like the top of the food chain with the instructors is being a party specialist, because that's not a privilege that everybody's not designed to teach parties, yes. So it's specific training we do. You have to be very prompt. You have to be able to map with different personalities. You got to be able to deal with the nice girls, the bitches, the prissy girls, the girls who come in that think they can damn pole better than you. You can't teach them nothing. The crazy ladies, the church ladies. You have to be able to deal with everybody. So we have our special pole specialist, and we just try to make ourselves as visible as possible and as easily reached as possible. But parties is where it's at. Like, classes are great, but and you have to have your home team. But those people who travel in town, especially, let it be a bachelorette party or something, they trying to spend all of their life savings to make sure their best friend is good. And we gonna take it all. We gonna train her on everything she need to know. She gonna get married, get pregnant. We've done our job, So, yeah, parties.
I know so many people who have discovered pole through parties. Just like, I don't know, it wasn't my decision, but someone decided that they were gonna have a bachelorette party at a pole studio, and then I was like, wait,
it's fun
as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do this. So, that's awesome. And your visibility really helps people like contact you for that reason.
Absolutely.
Because I wanted to talk about, you have been on a lot of television shows.
Yeah.
You've been on Braxton Family Values and Real Housewives of Atlanta. How did that, is it just through word of mouth? Like how you got in the Lil Wayne? Is it all just kind of like connections like that for you? Or are you specifically reaching out to people and be like, hey, I got a studio?
Like now I've been more like, you know what, maybe we should get a publicist, and maybe we should do this, and maybe we should do that. But before then, I really didn't know anything about that. All really word of mouth, all from being like, go-to, the go-to person. Like, oh, well, there's a teacher, she's really good, she's been teaching for a long time, or, oh, I know the baddest pole teacher, or it's a girl who did this and did that. And then a lot of times, sometimes people just want to work with who they've seen, just in general. It's like, oh, okay, well, they were on TV, I want to go there, so a lot of that has a lot to do with it. But the Real Housewives, I did not know. But the person who was doing the PR for actually Sheree and one of the other girls at the time, she was a student, and she was scouting for a pole teacher. And she came to my class, and she was like, she loved it. And she was like, we want you to come out and teach pole at this event. And it was like, oh, okay. I had no idea it was, the Housewives. I had no idea really any of it. That was my first time doing a pole for TV, and it was one of the, I don't really remember many pole episodes before that, but I know that after that, it's like every reality show, you have to have a pole episode. It just has to happen. So that was really, really crazy. And people tend to like always, remember, like it's been, years, and I was still bumping to people. Like a lady came to the studio like last week, and she actually is friends with Lisa Wu, who was one of the young ladies who was there. But she's on like she's on another show now. I feel like it's R&B X's or one of those shows. I haven't seen it yet because it's new, but she's actually friends with her, and I'm teaching class, and she was like, were you on the were you at the house, Real House? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I knew that wiggle. I knew the wiggle because we were doing the same booty move that we were teaching at the time. She remembered. So that was that. The Braxtons, the Braxtons was an accident. Okay. Which was totally funny. One of the ladies who was booking the party, she's best friends with one of the Braxtons, and their birthdays are basically around the same time. So she was celebrating her birthday. So she decided to bring them along, but it was a surprise and we didn't know. So of course, right before the class, we're doing confirmations. So we called back what was on the confirmation. We're like, oh yeah, you have your party scheduled for today, blah, blah. And the girl was like, what party? And we were like, you're on our schedule, yada, yada, yada. So it was very strange because one, they didn't know. It was a catastrophe. We almost didn't have it at all because it was so much confusion. But they got there. We had a great time, and they ended up coming back off camera because they were like, we couldn't have fun the way we wanted to have fun, especially, with the cameras there. You can't have like music, because you're not licensed for it and all that stuff. Yeah. So they came back and we had a ball. It was amazing. But yeah, we've had like Love and Hip Hop. We just recently shot with Married to Medicine. We've had Cutting It in ATL. We've had Mother Funders. It's been like a lot of great things. Probably average about 2 shows like a year, which usually it ends up airing. One might air in the summer and one might air in the fall. But that's kind of been like the goal now. Like, hey, what show we need to get on? Because when you do it, you don't have to advertise.
Yes.
Like it advertises for you, and then there are always reruns and repeats, and it's nationwide. It's really great, and the artists are usually very nice and very friendly. We just did something with Playboy TV too.
I've heard good things about them.
Yeah. So it's been really awesome. I'm very grateful for that. But when they call us about doing something for TV, it's like, where? Let's get it.
Yeah, it's good for you because that's free promotion, free advertising, and it's good for the pole community because you're getting the word out there. And when you get the word out there, that's only going to get
absolutely
grow the business as a whole.
Yes,
and you will reap the benefits.
Exactly. The more they see us, the more they understand that, hey, this is a real sport. This is a real thing. We're not going anywhere, and it doesn't matter who does it. It's a good look for everybody. Like when I look on TV and see that, someone is featured here and someone's doing here, I'm like, hell yeah, because someone here saw it and they're going to look up pole dancing in Atlanta because now they want to be a part of it. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And you also have, we touched on it a bit earlier, like that twerking. Obviously, anyone who knows you, twerking is like a huge component of what you do. And then you have 99 Ways to Twerk.
99 Ways to Twerk, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the twerk situation.
Yes.
Well, when we first did pole convention, the very first year, we did a pole dance routine. And we were doing a lot of like twerking on the pole. So, when we got done performing, we received a lot of love. We got like a standing ovation. And we were like, oh, snap. Because we almost changed our routine because we were concerned about not being, accepted. We kind of wanted to look like everybody else. But we just went on and decided to be ourselves. And it was well received. So people are they're coming up and they were like, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? And we were like, oh, it's a bow and arrow, or it's it's Aisha. And they're like, no, that. It was like that. And it was like, and at the time we call it like ATL booty clap. So Jesselyn, so basically they're trying to teach them how to twerk, basically. And Jesselyn came to us after, and she was like, next year, y'all got to come teach. And we were like, okay, all right, well what we teaching? And she was like, whatever that's called, we need you to teach it. So we were like, okay. So we came with ATL booty clap. I went undercover to a script club because it needed more moves. See, I just basically had like wiggle, wine, salt shakers, throwbacks. I had like my generic moves. So I needed some more moves. So I was bartending at the strip club called Pinups, and I'm just watching the ass. And then I'm like, oh, okay, hers going from side to side. Oh, okay, she's got a little cheek. Oh, okay, she got an isolation. So I literally am like taking notes, building up this foundation of moves, because I was like, we got to have more to offer than just these moves. So next year we went to West Palm Beach to teach them. We see like this long line of people, and we're walking up and we're like, damn, where all these people going, and we get to the front of the line and it says, we're newly Vertical Joe, so nobody knew what Vertical Joe's. It said ATL Booty Girls. That was our name. ATL Booty Clap was the class. And we were like, oh my God. So it was literally like 107 women in our first class, and we didn't really know, what to do. We end up, people who are instructors now were students then. They end up helping us teach that class because we had such a large group. Yeah, we had to spread people out, and that way they can see the booty, walk around, help them out kind of thing. So that was like our first thing. And we didn't know that we were the first to bring like this style to the pole community, because, being from Atlanta, or even just being African, though the music is different and, the standards of the move is different, it's still very, similar movements. So we had been teaching ATL Booty Clap for quite some time. And I ended up going to teach at the North American Pole Dance Championships. And we were right around the time we had just said, this is probably going to be our last, time teaching Booty Clap. Well, we should do something different, teach something different. Because we had been teaching it since like 2007. We were like, people have got to be tired of this. So I performed in Chicago, had a great routine. That same weekend, Miley Cyrus twerked. Okay,
I remember that.
Listen, my emails, everything, and the video. Because of that, my video from North American Pole Dance Championship, they dropped that like as one of the first videos.
Hashtag it was twerk.
Absolutely, they were like, she was twerking, and I was like, okay, so. We had a meeting that week, and we was like, yo, okay, we need to change the name to Twerk, because twerk is clearly going to be worldwide because Miley did it. And it's not a new word to us, but it's going to be new for now. And then we had a meeting with all the instructors that were trained in ATL Booty Clap, and we started to expand on moves. So we went from maybe like 25, 30 moves. But once we put the different backgrounds together, like, one being from Louisiana, one being from Hawaii, me being African, we realized we had so many more options and offerings. And that's where I launched 99 Ways to Twerk. Yeah.
That's so cool. Now, what is it though? Like, how can people, do you have to go take a class in it, or is it?
Yeah. Well, it's everything. It's a DVD.
Cool.
So the DVD, we actually have volume 1 right now. Volume 1 has numbers 99 through 49, because for you to do the rest of it, you need to have that down first. And I'm telling you, people, the basics be off. I'm telling you, they be off. We got to fix them basics, and then we can daggone,
just like with pole.
That's what I'm saying. They want to just hop into the crazy stuff, and then the basics are looking crazy. So we ended up, creating this DVD. People can take it as a workshop, as a class. It's really popular for when we do conventions, but we are with Poles on Tour, so they tend to book us and send us out. And we have a crew of twerk technicians. So the twerk technicians are the ones that come out and teach, like, because I'm only one person. I can only do so much. So I make sure that the ladies are trained and awesome and excellent. That way, if you don't care what twerk technician you get, she knows what she's doing. We all got the same skill set. And, it's just different delivery depending on the person. So more recently, we found that it's a lot of people teaching twerk, that are looking for more material. Or it's people teaching twerk that, want to be able to twerk better. So we launched our twerk technician training, this isn't my first round of, instructors training. I already had the ATL Booty Clap training. So we enhanced it. And when I tell you it still kind of cracks me up. Like, it's all like these different kind of booty types in there. It's like twerk history, foundations of twerk. It has a full-on anatomy guide of like proper squat stance and how, hyperextension and flexion, and it's full out twerk science. Like I really tried to go all in. So it's really awesome. We actually did our first official launch of the twerk technician training in London like a week and a half ago, and it was so well received, and the girls did an awesome job. So we're actually currently organizing that whole tour, because I just feel like we've been teaching for years. It's time for other people, to start teaching it and just spread it around, because I mean, again, a twerk similar to pole, you would think it was just like come and go, but people still twerking, and we're still teaching it. And I just really want people to see that it's really a workout, and it's really an awesome style of dance. And, sure, it's sexy, but we have plenty of styles of dance that's sexy. So I think it can go pretty far.
Yeah. Well, I'll give a little teaser that we have a twerk technician, a twerk technician on the podcast next week. So so people can look forward to that. But it is like, hey, twerk class is one of my favorite, and I know I don't look like a twerker, and I'm not specifically good at it, but I love that it's for everyone. And
absolutely,
it is the best workout. I'm telling you, and it's so fun, and my isolations are getting solid.
Good. It makes me happy. I'm telling you, but I feel like it is something that everyone can do.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have different moves that are easier to them, and then you're going to have moves that are going to be harder for you. I mean, it's just like anything else. It's not just going to hand itself to you. But I had no idea it would be doing so much, because I just really remember when we were doing twerk during the tour, like nobody wanted to do it. Like it was really kind of like, if you were like a technically trained dancer, it's almost like how it was back in the day with like hip hop. You were a technically trained dancer, doing hip hop was like not really showcasing all of your skills, So, twerk was kind of, similar. But I'm appreciative that the culture of music encourages twerking. Like, what else are you gonna do to back that ass up? Like, what are you gonna do? You can't damn do the Charleston to it. You're gonna have to damn drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, your body wants to do it, and like I said, I'm like a rock and roller. Like people wouldn't associate it, but even Mastodon had a video with twerking, and Lux ATL, who I know, she does at your studio sometimes. She twerked and they're like a metal band. So
absolutely.
It is crossing genres, and like
it is.
I can twerk to rock music just as much as I can to hip hop. So it's like just expanding.
I love it. And Lux is my bud. I love Lux.
No, she's great. Like you, she's done a lot for the community. And so people know I'm going to put a link to the 99 Ways to Twerk in the show notes, so people can go check it out and
check it out. And we got twerk support too. So I mean, we have a Facebook group.
Twerk support.
Hey, people need twerk support. You hear me? They need help. If you can't figure it out, the tutorial not helping you, need twerk support. Yeah, we got a secret group. No purrs, cool. No purrs allowed. If they not in a twerk stance, on a hoop or on a pole in your profile picture, I don't know if we letting you in the group, because you might just be in there trying to look at us, But yeah, it's definitely link them so they can come and twerk with us. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I definitely will. And then I feel like you probably have a lot of more things in the works, just talking to you. So what's your trajectory moving forward, like for yourself and for your business?
For the business, definitely Vertical Joe's as a household name. So I want for when someone is, say, maybe trying something new, that people are like, oh, you're going to try kill yourself aerobics? Oh, like Vertical Joe's? You know what I mean? Or I want everybody to kind of start to relate certain things to Vertical Joe's, or you should go to Vertical Joe's, or I heard Vertical Joe's does that, or that sounds like something Vertical Joe should do. I want it to be like a household name just in general, so that whenever people visit Atlanta, they want to, stop by, Vertical Joe's. And within Vertical Joe's, I would like for each of my instructors to have their own, presence and their own brand behind them, to where people like love the studio, but they're like a supporter of the different ventures of each of the instructors. All of my instructors are like stars. You know what I mean?
I love your instructors. I follow them all. I follow them all, and like,
I love them, and
great
they
attitudes too.
yeah, they treat the studio like it is their own, and they run me raggedy on what we should be doing and what we should not be doing. So I want everybody to be able to, to know that they're their own personality. So that's definitely what I want to do with the studio, and I have this big vision for a dream studio, where we have the pole space, we have the dance and fitness space, the hot yoga, and got a barber and a braid shop in that mug, got a lounge, got a jacuzzi. I mean, It's gonna be off chain. It's gonna be off chain. Okay, so Dream Studio is gonna be popping off. So
an Atlanta destination for sure. People would
absolutely
go just for that.
You know what I'm saying? I need that to happen. I need to still open up like a Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but I'm willing to compromise that part. But it's in my mind. I want it to happen. So yeah, that's that with the studio. For me personally, at the time when I started polling, I wanted to actually pursue like a career in broadcasting, communications. I wasn't sure which avenue I wanted to go because I didn't exactly want to be like a news anchor or something. But then, when I was younger, like VJs are really popular, like, with MTV and BET. I always wanted to be like a VJ, but then the video shows started to like kill themselves, and it was like no real platform for those kind of personalities. So I'm actually kind of enjoying that now. I've had more of the opportunity to like MC at like pole events and things like that. So I feel like it's kind of going full circle. So yeah, for myself personally, I would like to do more with communications. I want to improve, myself personally, because now that, the studio's running, is doing its thing, I'm able to, train again and, just kind of better myself. And, I'll be 40 soon. So when I hit 40, I want to be like that butt naked 40-year-old with, the six pack and standing on my head and all of the magazines today. Like, this lady is 40 and look what she's doing. Like, she's like amazing. So I want that. I'm also studying a few different languages. Yeah, because I love training. And it's been hard for me to commit to studying with the studio. But like now it's lightening up, trying to get my habits back together so that I can really focus. But it's so many more opportunities out. I've been doing a lot of teaching for like Expo, and they've been, sending us out to different places. And I'm like, damn, if I went on and got this other language under my belt, I could, be doing so, many more things. That. And I feel like, just in general, I feel like the bigger picture is just the household name, and just also for the studio. And then for me personally, being better, being, smarter, more well-rounded, more fine, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just bad as hell. So that's kind of what I'm up to, personally. So I got a long list of goals. So just try to reach them one at a time,
Yeah, I can tell you're ambitious, so I have no doubt that, you'll get there. And they all work together. That's how you get the household name, is by getting yourself out there, your name out there, doing
Absolutely.
All of the trainings, all of the performances.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
What about with Pole Parlour? Like, what's popping with Pole Parlour? What are you going to do with her?
Oh, that shall be seen. That's, the communications thing, I'm working on that. I'm getting that under my belt with the podcast. So, girl, I kind of started this without any expectations. So, you're the first person to ask that. I feel like I'm being interviewed now. This is not what I signed up for. I'll ask the questions here, Missy.
I'm sorry. My bad.
No, it's cool. All I want to do is just talk to like bad bitches like you every week and be inspired, and it translates to all parts of my life as well.
Yes.
So not just the pole parlor part. So,
well, that's beautiful, because I feel like we don't have a lot of platforms of this sort. Sometimes people just see people on Instagram, doing things, and that's the only voice that they have. So I feel like it's great, having, blogs and, podcasts. And I feel like our magazine medium is really low right now too.
Yeah,
Like
people aren't reading so much.
people are not reading. And I feel like I know making publications are pretty expensive as well.
Yeah.
But without it, it's still not a place for, people to have like a voice. So I think that that this is like really cool. So
Thanks, Mama. And we had I just remember because we had Nikki St John on.
Nikki Bud, yeah.
And are you guys doing something that's like video oriented? That like
Yes,
I just feel like with pole, you can write about it, but there's something about and there's definitely validity to that. But one of the reasons I started this podcast because I just feel like there's so many other mediums that can be covered, and like
Absolutely.
I want to like talk with people and have them react and get a better sense of like who are all these people in the community, and then I think that there's like this unexplored video platform out there of people creating content in that sense. Are you able to talk about anything with that?
Well, I can only say a little bit because it's full out. That's like Nikki's project,
Okay.
So I gotta let her drop the dime.
She gave you a shout out on that you were working on it. So yeah, let's not spill any beans here, but maybe a little teaser.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. Nikki, I believe that the first pole class she took was with me, but Nikki is one of those young ladies that when she has your back, she will have your back forever. And when I tell you, I went through some hard times with Nikki, and she was there for me the entire time to pick me up. And she kind of went into hiding for a second, and then when I looked up again, she had blown up Pole Dance Nation, Aerial Nation. I was like, who is this girl? That's my friend. Wow, I'm so honored. But yes, Nikki is a very talented actress, and I feel like sometimes when people aren't putting you on in the speed that you need to be put on, then it's time for you to put yourself on. So Nikki is doing some amazing things in LA, where we filmed some webisodes together that were written very well. They were hilarious to shoot, and I can't wait for you all to see them because she's super talented, and sometimes you just think a young lady with a face like that and a body like that is just good to look at, but she has full out talent. So yeah, I'll just say that we twerked in some public places in LA and caused quite a disturbance, and it's all on film.
I'm gonna share it as soon as she shares it. I'm putting it out there. Can't wait to see you guys.
Yes, it's pretty awesome.
That's cool. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into the standard questions that I ask everyone because I'm super curious to know.
Okay.
Who is FiyaStarta's pole crush?
My pole crush. My pole crush.
Yeah.
My pole crush is Cleo the Hurricane.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah. But not because of the pole.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of people that if I had to just pick a crush off a pole, that would be very hard to do because it's so much like nice and sexy and fun out there. Cleo's my pole crush because she's so self-made. I met her years ago in Texas, and she was asking me a bunch of questions about like DVDs and branding and how do I know this and how do I know that. Like she totally like picked my brain. And at the time she didn't have any DVDs. She didn't have Rock and Pole. She didn't have websites. She didn't have instructors. She didn't have any of that. And, she's a artist. She's a musician, but she's also a pole talent. But then you blink your eyes and she has taken her brand through the roof, and then she turn around, she get pregnant, and normally, and chicks get pregnant in the pole world, you can just say bye-bye to her because she not going to be back no time soon, and somebody else going to climb up in whatever spotlight she feeling, because they usually don't know what to do once they get pregnant. It is the world end when you get pregnant, right? Look, Cleo get pregnant. She bring on these instructors. She take her whole game, up another 10 notches. So for me, my pole crush has to be able to pole. She has to be, a pioneer, but she also got to be a businesswoman. Like, I'm just so much, it takes so much more to fascinate me. And I'm totally, fascinated by her. She's very sweet. She's not bitchy. She has her, you're going to have your own little bit of like, ego or, whatever kind of thing.
Your personal sass.
You got your personal sass. But, because she's dope and she knows that she's dope. But I really like Cleo, or, anyone who can, like I said, survive what she's been through, is like going from international, territory, then, coming to the U.S. and then transitioning to become established in the U.S. from, Australia, and then moving, and then you survive having a baby girl. You my crush, child. You my crush. So I love Cleo. I know a lot of people crush on her, but I think I crush on her for different reasons.
Oh, that's very admirable. She's super rad, and you're right, there wasn't like any blip within her.
No.
Within like rock and pole or anything. And I saw she's starting to get on the pole again, so.
She is. And she's pulling in even more people now because, she's been pregnant and now she's going from the bottom up again. And
it's relatable to so many people.
Oh my gosh. Like, so many people are, eating that for breakfast. Like, oh my God. When she got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, Cleo's pregnant. Then, just even her gaining weight is something like, oh my gosh, she's fat. Yes. You know what I mean? It's like, yes. So you get to watch her like struggle.
And she already looks amazing again. So
oh
testament to pole.
God. Yeah, absolutely. And she went to the gym and just everything. I feel like it's, she has a beautiful story. And like I said, talent and business. Mm-hmm. That's like my shit.
Package.
Yes. So yeah, love Cleo.
Awesome. And so, how would you like to see the pole community evolve over the next 5 years?
Over the next 5 years, the evolvement of pole. Okay. So I feel like it's a bunch of lane creating that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. So I would like for people to not be shocked when they see pole. I want them to become desensitized to it, like the word bitch and violence, like how people just are, they kind of look, past it, because I feel like that's the only way that, for those who want pole to be more sport, people have to get used to seeing it and not feel offended by it, So I feel like, we can be sporty, or if we want to be sexy, we can be sexy. Or if we want to be like we know how we can't get like a pole dance reality show or a pole dance game show or a pole dance competition show. Like I want people to see pole so much more. Or if you were at a gym and they had poles there, like people aren't staring because there's pole dancing going on. Like I want it to just become more visible so that it's not as shocking, so that we can take on the forms that we want to. Like, everybody's not for it to say for the Olympics or that kind of thing, but if those people want that, the only way for it to happen is for people to get used to seeing us, like I love that, we do the PCS Classic, the PCS event at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic each year.
Arnold, yeah.
Yeah, and like the first year, it was so much like whispering and people looking at us crazy, or like I could even hear people like when they walk past the pole stage, they're like, "Oh my God, pole dancing! Like, are they serious? Are they serious?" But now, with us going the last couple of years, you hear a difference. Like people are like, oh, pole, and like, oh yeah, they were here last year. Like they're really good. So it's changing because they keep seeing it and it's more visible. They're not shocked by it anymore. So I feel like it's something pole wise for every artist to be, proud of and to embrace no matter what your style is. So I just feel like we just need to keep pumping the visibility of it. Don't hide, don't be shy, don't be in the pole closet, let people know we're here. This is what we do. And I feel like we'll be able to do more. But because we're already like, of course, all the music videos and stuff have pole dancers. All movies gonna have a pole scene, but it's always in a strip club, which continues to keep us in one dimensional. You see it on the reality shows. I would like to see it in more sports that seem to give it the bigger respect. And even with the, kids like pole dancing and stuff, I know some, fathers are mortified if they see their daughter, with a pole. Maybe we just turn that thing sideways for right now, horizontal, and then once they over 16, you turn it vertical. And then, at least it's something that, they'll be a bit more familiar with and they won't be as shocked, But yeah, I'm tired of them acting shocked every time they see a pole.
Stigma, I know, and it's so true. And I feel like we have to be conscious of not just, because I think the reaction to that was a lot of people were like, well, let's just push it for fitness and let's just push it, for the athletic component because that's less shocking to people.
It's still shocking to them.
Yeah, it's still shocking, which is crazy. So it's like this, I guess it's, okay, let's get people to see the fitness aspect of it so it's not so shocking, but like, let's not dismiss that there is still like the club aspect to it or the
Absolutely.
Sexy aspect to it too. It's like, we can't like negate that aspect of it just to get rid of that stigma. I think it's the exposure. I think it's exactly what you said. People seeing it like,
just keep shoving it in their face. You keep shoving their face, they're going to eat it.
Get out of that closet.
They're going to eat it at some point. Yeah. That's what I think needs to happen.
I agree. It's for the highest good of all of us. And so what do you have? We kind of talked about this already, things that you have coming up. You've talked about the certification and things like that. But is there anything else you can share with us that, like, I think you're going to be at Pole Expo?
Yeah. I definitely going to be at Pole Expo. The class it's already sold out, so I'm super excited about that. We are launching a class called Twerk It Low, which is all about the floor-based twerks. So that's going to be really fun. So I'm excited about that. Also, we're launching the first PCS qualifier in Atlanta. Georgia. Yeah. So it's called the Georgia Pole Fitness Classic. It's in October. It's in Atlanta. And the winner gets to go compete in the Arnolds. We're super excited. We have like a big venue that has like an indoor pool. Like it's going to be nuts. Vertical Joe's is definitely going to perform. We have a lot of, special guests, coming in, and we've already sucked in a bunch of great competitors. So I'm just super excited about that. Because that's kind of like our leading, pole convention is going to be in Atlanta next year.
Yeah, I was just going to mention like PoleCon, which was in Texas this past year, but I saw that it's in Atlanta next year, and I'm already planning my trip. I'm already planning my. I hope you have that super studio done by then because I.
Oh my gosh! I have already sent Colleen so many ideas. When we got to PoleCon this year. And we saw the ad for PoleCon Atlanta is us. It's Vertical Joe's in the ad. And it was like, they come in like, we got to do something crazy. So we're already planning like craziness, which is another reason why the Georgia Pole Fitness Classic is so important, because we have to make sure that Georgia is ready to, Georgia has a different outlook on pole dancing. They don't really know what a pole convention is. Like if you look at the presence of people from Georgia that are at Expo and PoleCon, it's very low. Like they know pole for strip clubs, and that's what a lot of people know. So we really are figuring it's our duty to bridge that gap so that they know that, hey, this is a pole convention. You need to come and get some of this. So that's going down. More twerk technician trainings, for sure. We're putting together a tour for that. I'm emceeing Titans of Pole, which is in DC. It's a pole competition.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty dope. Actually, it's Jesselyn's competition in DC, so I'm super excited about that. I just did the instructors training for Expert, the spinning pole training, and then they also have a flexibility flow. I had a great time. We did the training. I did like 4 days in London at the Expo Development Center. So that was really dope. We are assisting. Bad Kitty is launching some new clothing that is going to require some of our shapes and peaches in it. So we're super excited about that. It's just a lot of great things going on. But for the most part, I feel like the biggest things are definitely upcoming competitions, dropping some new stuff at Expo, PoleCon on the way, and what else did we just dropped? We just dropped a series of classes called H2O that's being done by one of our instructors named Archer. She debuted it at PoleCon.
I'm obsessed with her, by the way. I hope she listens and she knows.
Archer, she's obsessed with you. Yeah,
she's so good.
It's a tarp-based class with like water, like floor work and water.
I saw her post a video of that. Yeah, no, I'm creeping on her. I'm telling you.
It's so much fun. And then like she's we recently did the liquid motion certifications as well. So listen, liquid at our studio has just been nuts. I send Jen all the dirty videos all the time. Like, look at what we're doing with liquid motion. So it's just,
that is liquid motion kind of adjust. The H2O is kind of doing the liquid motion on a tarp with like water or what?
Well, we did a tarp dance in a show called Sexy Circus like about 4 years ago. And it was all of the Vertical Joe's instructors. And it was like a floor work dance, and actually Archer is the one who choreographed the dance. So it was a bunch of us on a big tarp, and it was like the finale routine. So if you think about our flow work development 4 years ago versus now, so we were planning to launch these classes, but we was like, damn, where are we going to go? It's going to let us down, have tarps and water and blah, blah. And we was like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and do it? The worst they can do is say no. And I'm like, well, this is going to be you doing this because I don't want to do this, because then people are going to think that I don't want to do it. You're going to do it. So when she was like, okay, this is my thing. I'm ready. I can do it. So what happens is when you have done liquid motion, it changes the way you move altogether.
For those who don't know what liquid motion is, it's a certification program by Jenny Janover. And it's like a certification just like becoming a twerk technician, and it's like a body movement.
Yes. And Jen, I actually am one of the first people to harass Jen to do a training for this, because I was like, I would be the first one to buy it. And so her first training, she did it at Vertical Joe's. So I met Jen years ago. But yes, it is the epitome of flow work. Like, we're the epitome of twerk. She is the epitome of floor work.
Carmine Black is certified in it, for those who follow her and know how like she moves gorgeous. So
yes. So Carmine Black was in my graduating class as well. My bud. That's my bud. So yeah, we that liquid influence, you really can't help yourself, because now your floor work starts to merge with it. So it's funny because Archer was already doing the class, but we're teaching liquid motion, and she's been doing liquid motion with us. So it starts to all kind of cross over. So it was funny because we ended up posting a video of Archer on the tarp, and Jen ended up commenting herself and was like, now that's liquid. And it was like, oh my God, it was just crazy. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be really a lot of fun. And I'm looking to, hopefully, if Colleen gives us the green light, we're looking at doing that at PoleCon in Atlanta. And I also asked about a twerk class with live music.
That would be fun.
Twerk class with live music. I think it'll be like super dope. So Yeah, super excited.
So you're working on just a few things. You have just a few things in the pot right now.
Yes. Quite a few.
Yeah. I'll put all those in the show notes for people who like can't keep up. So you can go check it out there along with all your social media. Vertical Joe is just where you are everywhere. So you can search it.
Yeah. It's very, very easy. Very convenient. Vertical Joe's everywhere. And how to twerk. 99 ways to twerk. It's kind of everywhere too. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So taking up so much of your time, but before I let you go, before I unchain you, can you leave us with an empowering message or quote, anecdote, anything to leave us with?
Well, my empowering message would be, I encourage everybody to be yourself. I know you hear that a lot, but I feel like people think that the only way to get noticed in this industry is to duplicate someone else and do a competition, and hopefully you get picked up by someone amazing. It takes a lot more. Be yourself. Be honest with yourself and do things for the love of it as opposed to the money. Because if you do it for the love of it, the money will come. And my amazingly brilliant, profound statement for you is that if you have a crack, I can make it clap. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's hope for all of us out there.
All you need is a crack. Okay? If you got a crack, you good enough. If you ain't got no crack, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing for you. I can't help you.
We all have cracks, so that means we all have potential.
Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was so fun talking with you today.
I had a ball. It was awesome. Especially you're so great to look at. Like I didn't know you're gonna have the red hair and the animal print and the pole in the background. See,
most people just listen to this. They don't know these details from the YouTube video.
Hold on. Let me get my phone, honey. Let me get a picture.
Thank you for listening to the Pole Parlour podcast. Want more? Visit poleparlour.com for show notes and to link to the Facebook group where you can connect with other Poleholics and continue the conversation. Listen to past episodes and subscribe to new episodes on the website, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. Lots of love, babes. Thanks for listening.